This could be a lot of work for no result, but let's give it a shot. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where we learn, do, and talk about photography until we're sick of it. And you're joining me in the studio today for something I've never done before, which is making a video about someone else's video. You've probably heard of Peter McKinnon. Apparently he's got something of a reputation, and recently he released a video on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, which is product photography. So he cut together a really engaging piece of footage. He documented the process in an inspiring video, which as I watched, I couldn't help but notice.
This cost me $175, $200 a light, $20. Gold line filter, $1,000.
Was a bit pricey. So it got me thinking, how close could I get to replicating the results of Peter McKinnon's video on a budget of, say, $0? Today we're gonna find out. So my goal is not to disparage Peter McKinnon's video, which, as I said, was excellent, and the equipment that he demonstrated, lights, product, turntable, are the basic tools of the trade that you'll definitely want to be using when you're trying to get repeatable results on a client's timeline. But Peter seems like a good sport, and I think that even he would agree that the techniques we're going to attempt today, are great ways to get the creative juices flowing for the creator on a budget. So let me show you what I've got in mind. All right, so let me first introduce you to our photo subject for today, which is this gorgeous vintage Swiss timepiece by Breitling, which I'm photographing for a company called Timely Souls. They're a company that specializes in hard-to-get luxury watches and sneakers. So if it piqued your curiosity what a company that specializes in luxury watches and sneakers looks like, be sure to visit timelysouls.com. You'll probably see some of my work there on the website. And I'll also introduce you to some equipment that we're going to use. So I'm assuming that if you're a photographer, you at least have access to a camera, a tripod, a computer, some editing software, right? You at least have that or have access to it. Some of what we're doing probably could be done on a smartphone. In fact, there may be an app that makes some of these processes easier. And if you're aware of something like that, be sure to leave it in the comments to give everyone else a heads up. I'll also be using a product photo box, which is just a couple of lights and a piece of scrim and some fabric wrapped around some poles. So that's something you could make. It's not essential to the photograph. I'm using it because it simplifies the process of my making this video for you. I don't have to kill all the lights in the studio. I'll just be working with the lights in the box. But I do always recommend this as a first investment for someone interested in product photography. And if you'd like to pick something like this up or have it shipped directly to your door, be sure to check out my Amazon affiliate links. I'll recommend a comparable product for you. So aside from being selfishly beneficial to the video I'm making, I also really like working in the photo box because it gives me what I think of as like a liberating constraint, which is to say that when I just want to do studio work, like studies of colors and patterns and lighting techniques, it's simpler for me to tackle the problem knowing that I have this constraint. I can just get in the box and start working, and I don't get lost in trying to come up with elaborate photo ideas. Fortunately for this video, there's not a lot of work required in the box. Our reference video is black backdrop, black surface. I might normally favor to get a nice deep black out of something like this black drawing paper. These are like $1.50, so it's easy to keep a good assortment of these in the studio. But to more closely match the aesthetic of our reference video, I'm gonna opt for something more reflective and unroll a sheet of black vinyl in the box, which I have somewhere. Okay, I've gone ahead and set up the camera so that you've got a camera's eye view as I compose the photo, which I thought might be the first challenge, but the reference video is very simple. It's just a dead center product and center composition. I think the bigger challenge is going to be replicating the rotating motion of the product without using the turntable, because I've sort of already sworn off of that. I'm such an idiot. And the second problem I think is going to be that the reference video has got a lighting set up so that it's backlit with these tube light things. And not only do I not own tube lights, I'm definitely not going to stretch the premise of this video to go out and buy tube lights. And so I've got some problems to figure out. Okay, I've been weighing my options here, and I think what I'm going to try to do to get the watch to rotate is to use stop motion. I would not call this the best option because the watch is kind of a flexible product, and so it's got lots of room to wiggle and wobble and stuff. And so I don't know, there's a lot of potential for failure here, but I decided that I can't let my fear of failure be the thing that keeps me from trying this, so we will try it. I know I'm going to be working with a series of raw still images, and so I'm wondering if let me show you my idea. I'm wondering if I can cut the shape of tube lights out of this reflective white foam board and possibly create the illusion of there being tube lights behind the product. This could be a lot of work for no result, but let's give it a shot. All right, now we can start the tedious process of capturing stills. I'll capture the still, rotate the product about as few degrees as possible so we have as many frames to work with as possible, and then just rinse and repeat ad infinitum. So I actually did this process stop motion for recently for it was a hot sauce brand, Lena Weber Sauce Company. I'll link them down in the description. Thank you so much for the brands that work with me. And it was a similar shot, so it was a full product lineup in rotation, and I did it in stop motion so that I could do an effect of adding bottles individually as the product lineup rotated. And you know, there's just so many possibilities you can do with this technique. Maybe I could put the box in the shot, and maybe the product could be rotating one way and the box could be rotating the other way. These are difficult shots to execute, but sometimes it's the right technique to get a certain effect. This is probably the dumbest use possible, but let's roll with it and see if we can pull it off. This watch, like the product in Peter McKinnon's video, also benefits from video that showcases the motion, right? It's a watch and it moves. So next I'm going to stop motion the watch toward the camera, and then I'm going to set it on a long exposure time lapse, and I'm going to let that run overnight and get out of here because it's getting kind of late. Give the watch a wind, set the camera to go, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Okay, I'm fresh back from a couple hours of sleep. Got a couple hours on the time lapse as well, so thankfully I'll have something to throw in the timeline because I wasn't here to babysit it, so anything could have gone wrong. And I almost pulled the watch out to show you what I was thinking about doing, and fortunately I stopped myself because what I've been ideating on overnight, and I won't lie, honestly, even a bit in my dream, is the fact that in the reference video, the tube lights in the background were RGB lights. That's why they're so expensive. They're basically like little high-powered TVs. They can change to any color, and in the reference video, the lights changed from white to red. And so I'm thinking, how am I going to change my white lights to red? And here's the idea that I had. Got some spray paint. So while the camera is still in tight on the watch face, I'm going to try to sneak the lights out, spray paint them red, sneak them back in, and then when the shot pulls back away from the tight shot, the lights will have changed from white to red. It's taken me now almost a full day just to do the stop motion photography, but it's been a very fun exercise. But this is all the time I have for fun today. But the last thing that I wanted to try is the original video. There was an effect where there was a filter being passed in front of the lens, and like I can do that effectively while I'm also manipulating the subject and the camera. So what I think I'll do instead is shoot some motion footage passing the filter in front of the camera against the black backdrop, and then overlay that on top of the video. And I think it'll actually sort of tie in and help sell the illusion that this is a single piece of motion video. So I don't know, you guys tell me what you think. All that remains is to pull it into the computer. while, and I can't wait to show it to you. Actually, just let me give you a little preview. It looks like this. But I'm going to let that render out so you don't have to watch it play back all skippy and stuttery on my little cheap laptop computer. But we're also setting up for a huge festival outside, so we'll go check that out in the meantime. I'll do anything you ask me to. I've been enlisted into a scavenger hunt. I have to find 2 plastic blue buffaloes. A place where businesses can get a good workspace. That probably is like where my office is. All right, it's 1 down. Let's take my picture with it. Coming for you. It's got a new sign on the door, so that's got me feeling pretty important. The scavenger hunt of the festival has led me right back here to my office, which is convenient for you because we're going to go over the edits of this video now, and I'll walk you through some of the challenges, and we'll have a look at the final result. First, I thought maybe I should do a little bit of house cleaning on this video, or else maybe there's a strong possibility that it will not make any sense. So while I was out exploring the festival, all of our galleries were open on Main Street, and I stopped at the art gallery that has a permanent collection of my landscape photos, and I sold a print. So that was a very exciting development. And lastly, for the sake of continuity, if you had happened to notice that my hair is like 2 inches longer now than it was at the start of the video, that's because the work that I was doing in the photo box and also this video that I cut together I did almost a month ago, and the client was just not ready for me to be sending people to their website, and they actually brought me on, after they saw the quality of work that I was making for them, they brought me on to redesign their website. And so where I think I mentioned earlier that you could see some samples of my work by visiting timelysouls.com, you can now see an extensive redress of the website I've done, and I've actually done all the product photography and videography and the About Us video on the website. So this video I'm going to show you now is not something that I would send to the client, and we will discuss a little bit some of the challenges that I ran into making it. Okay, so first off, this will look familiar to you. This is exactly what we were making for the stop motion animation. The white in the background, so I captured all of these as raw stills, and then I developed the raw files in Adobe Lightroom so that I could have an effect of the lights coming on and off, right? So I made masks for the lights in the background and brightened and darkened those masks so that I had JPEG exports with the lights on, a series with the lights on, a series with the lights off. And the first thing I did when I built the timeline was sort of cut between the lights on and the lights off. So there's an effect of the lights flickering in the background. You can see that worked in some of these flares that we recorded. Probably the biggest problem that I ran into is if you look here at the surface that the watch is on, that was I shot that on a seamless vinyl backdrop. And as the watch moved, it would sort of cause different wrinkles that make this sort of like, it looks like it's on like flowing water. And so a lot of what I've done, yeah, especially here, is to cut around that. But if I did this again, I probably would shoot it on a hard surface or maybe put a piece of ceramic or acrylic down so that not only would I get a nice reflective surface under the watch, it wouldn't cause this wrinkling effect. Another problem I had is in the parts where the watch is moving towards and away from the camera, right? This is like, I don't know, a couple hundred stills that I took when the watch was just spinning. But then the parts where the watch is moving towards and away from the camera, I think that was like 4 or 5 stills where I could have used 40 or 50 frames. So I knew that I wanted the watch to move towards and away from the camera quickly. So I just made fast movements with the watch. But what I should have done is just speed ramp that in the video editor. Right, so this is not quite the quality that I would deliver to the client, but still a super fun sort of studio work exercise to practice this skill, and I know that next time I would do it better, so I don't regard it as a waste of time. I'll give you guys a look at the video now, and you can tell me down in the comments what you think. Until I see you guys next time, you keep an eye out and a foot forward, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Taking a little bit of extra time and a little bit of extra effort to showcase something this way goes the distance. It's also really, really fun.